Happy Monday. This is John McEntyre. This is John McEntyre Live. And I'm John McEntyre again. And it's Monday. So, hope everyone had a good weekend. It was definitely a hot weekend. Well, it's hot today here. We're in the Charlotte area. And so we're having a serious early heat wave. Normally, it's not like this until late July, get into August. But yeah, we come into summer months blazing. So yeah, but we're here. Like I said, I hope everyone had a great weekend. Uh, Fun, family, food, lots of food, good food. So yeah, but we know the routine. Let's get this Monday started off with some wallet wins. And first one, well, we'll do the wallet wins as usual. We'll do a question, and the question that I'm going to answer it actually comes from Friday. While while I was doing the show Friday, a question came in about the rule of 72, and I answered it quickly, but I did not give it the justice. I didn't give it justice. So once I went back and looked at it, I was like, yeah, I really skimmed it, but I didn't answer the question like I wanted to answer it for actual viewer, which is Theodore Bird. So we're going to answer that question. We're going to go a little bit deeper today and give my answer to the rule of 72. Then we'll do the question of the day. We'll go about our Monday. So wallet win number one, I consolidated my investment accounts and I feel more organized. That is good. That's good. It's actually good to know that you have more than one. Because a lot of people, and myself included, I've talked about it before, have had other investment accounts and didn't know about them. It's been quite a few times where working with people and looking what you call finding money, which Andrea, she's very good at doing that, and it's been more than once finding investment accounts that have been forgotten, left at other employers and things like that. So it's good to know that you have that that you have more and you've consolidated them. Um, it's easier to track. It reduces fees, so it can reduce fees, and so that's saving money. Knowing consolidating and knowing that you have more can reduce fees, and it's easier to implement portfolio changes. Like you could have say for instance, you have two investments account. Uh, you may rebalance one. It may be time to do a rebalance, or audit the account. If you've forgotten about the other one, this other account could actually offset things. It could be not doing so well, and this one over here is doing well. And then once you look at both accounts, you're like, really, I didn't really make any money. I did make money on this account, but I lost money on this one. So, well, if you have them both consolidated, then it's like I say, it's much easier to track and implement the portfolios. Or you could just have two portfolios not that's just doing, just barely doing something, and they both need to be, rebalanced or whatever. So it's a lot of things that go into that. Um, but yeah, consolidating the investment account definitely that's a big time wallet win. Wallet win number two, sold my extra card that I thought I needed. Was hard to let go, but freed up extra money. Yeah, that's a wallet win. That's a win on more than one in one area, more than one area. Um, Financially, yeah, one less car payment, extra money could go somewhere else to work, work better for you. Um, but I read here it was hard to let go, but did it. So that was a good thing for emotional reasons, also emotional and mental. It shows uh, your emotional intelligence. That's what I was looking for. Still, I'm not good with big words. So, and I'm proud of myself. I used two big words together: emotional intelligence. So that shows some emotional intelligence to be able to make that type of decision, knowing it's going to be better for you. Because that's usually where a lot of issues happen. Um, persons, they just cannot let certain things go because it makes them feel a certain way. It's an asset it's not a financial asset, but it is an asset to them in another way. It could be emotional or whatever. And so, yeah, that was a good one. Um, and it will definitely pay off. Wallet win number 3. I did your save your change challenge. This is something that someone reminded me of, and at first I was like, save your change challenge. Uh, I was like, man, that's old. That was like that was over like 10 years ago. I remember I used to be on the radio. I was a guest on a radio show, a live radio every Monday, and we had this save your change challenge. Basically any silvers, nickels, dimes, quarters, pennies, just save them. Only spend your paper. And we would do that challenge at the first of the year. And the goal was to see how much you would have saved and how much you could use for Christmas. That's what it was. So to hear about this, I was almost like, save your change channel. Oh, wow. That is, yeah, you've been a viewer for you've been around for a long time. So they did your Save Your Change challenge and now have 3 months of living expenses. So I'm taking it that maybe they had 2 and they was actually added it. Now they have 3 months of living expenses. So yeah, that's a big time win. I guess it's something I need to resurrect. Bring it back. The change challenge, Save Your Change. I guess because I don't talk about it much because we do have some change, but we don't have as much change as we used to because we just don't use cash as much as we used to. But there are a lot of people out there on cash basis. They do use cash. So it's a good reminder. I have to remember some things that I do, others don't do. Some things that other people do, I don't do. So, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. Uh, so yeah, save your change. Maybe it's time to bring that back and start reminding people to actually save your change. Um, and if you have a way of doing it, uh, a suggestion, hey, I'm open. I'm open to doing it because it does save money. If you do, you use cash and you take your change. I remember that was one of our first lessons with Bella was with a change. She saved all this change. She had to go to the grocery store with the change counter or whatever. You pour all the change, and so she came out of there. I mean, the money didn't make it back out of the store, but she did. She took her change over there and she left out with a couple of cookies, and so she was good because she was like tiny. She wasn't even she was preschooler at the time. So yeah, and as a matter of fact, that's when we was really heavily into doing the change challenge. And so she would listen on radio, or sometimes she would go to the radio station with me, and we would always talk about it. And so I showed her how to save her change, and we went to the grocery store, and she would leave out of there. Her money was spent when she walked through the door. So I was like, yeah, whatever. But that was funny. Good times. Now save some change, whatever. All right, so there we go. 3 good wallet wins: consolidated investment accounts, sold the extra car that I thought I needed, and did the Save Your Change challenge, and now have 3 months of living expenses. So 3 good wallet wins to start this week off. All right, so our question, like I was saying earlier, I wanted to go a little deeper into the rule of 72 because I had received the question near the end of the show on Friday, while I was doing my book club, and it was, love your content, John. You may have discussed this before, but what are your thoughts on the rule of 72? And so the rule, and this was from Theodore Burr. Um, Rule of 72 is it's an investment rule used in the financial services industry, well, investment management. Um, and it's a simple formula that is widely used just to estimate the number of years required to double your invested money at a given annual rate of return. That's basically what it is. It's like a snapshot thing. It's a quick formula, because the more the formula that is actually used, I mean, you basically have to be I mean, you almost have to be like a physicist or something like that. I mean, I was like, who came out? Probably Einstein or one of those guys or some of those real smart people. They're above what we say. It's above my pay grade to figure that out. I've seen the formula. I actually had a friend. He was a certified financial analyst and just overall big brain. Um, uh, Chuck, remember Chuck? He he showed me the formula because we were talking about Rule 72, and he was like, "Well, yeah, this is the real formula right here." And then he heard crickets, and he was like, "I'm sorry, dude." He geeked out on it, and he was like, I mean, it didn't matter how much money you had; he could calculate it. It didn't matter, with him. He said, but the Rule of 72, it is a good snapshot. It's not like way off. Um, and like I say, basically, it's an estimate. It gives you an approximation of how many years it would take to double your investment at a given rate of annual interest rate. So, for example, basically what it's saying is you divide 72 by your interest rate. That's basically what it is. That's how simple it is. And here's an example. Say you have $5,000, um, and you have it invested 8% annual return. Well, you would take 72 divided by 8. 72 divided by 8 is 9. So it would basically take, what it's saying is it would take 9 years for your 5,000 to become 10,000. That's basically what it's saying. It's, it really is that simple of a formula. And uh, like I say, it applies to the compound interest rates, and it's reasonably accurate from what I told and what I've seen. Most of the time, this is the area we play in the most. Between 6 and 10% is where it's most reasonably accurate. You get outside, it's just not as accurate when you get to the other side of those two numbers. It still gives you a good snapshot. It's not like it, you could go from, like, say for instance 5,000, it goes past 10%, it like tells you it's going to double in 20 years, or I meant like 1 year, 2 years, something like. It's going to be pretty accurate. It's going to give you a good window to work with, a good estimation. So, but that's basically what the Rule of 72 is. Whatever you have, whatever interest rate, look at your investment account, your annual rate of return, what you're looking for. Say, for instance, you're looking for 8%, um, a return, which is like the industry norm, and more like the conservative, mid conservative, not aggressive or anything like that. You're just looking for a good rate of return on your money. 8%, 9 years, you should have doubled your money. That's basically what it is. Take 72 divided by your annual interest rate. There you go. You have your years. And it is good because which goes into the question of the day. It is good for people to sort of to have that idea, because usually what happens with people's with their investments, they don't really think about the annual interest rate. They just say, as long as, in their mind, as long as it's positive, they're good. Um, but that it may be positive, but is it reaching your goal? That's the question. You got to remember the why. Why are you investing? You're not investing just to make some money. You're investing to hit a goal, retirement goal, or you may be saving for something in particular and you need it to happen in a certain amount of years or whatever. So you need to have that in mind, which goes into the question of the day. Do you know if your investments are going to hit the amount you want in your time frame? That's the actual question to ask yourself, because, like I say, what I've seen, uh, years and years, and our mentors have taught us. Most people, when they get to retirement, they say, "Well, I have this much money. This is what I can do." Where if you're more intentional on the front side, you would say, in retirement, I want to have this much money, and this is what I need to do. This is the return I need over this amount of years. One of them, you're adjusting you're on the backside, so there's really not too much you could do. So you have to adjust your lifestyle to live that. On this side, on the proactive side, the intentional side, you say, this is the lifestyle that I want, and then here's the plan that needs to be put in place for that to happen. So you see, one of them is not, you're not intentional, so you just have to do what the money tells you to do. On the intentional side, you're telling what your money to do so you can do what you want to do in retirement. If you decide to retire or whatever, when you stop working or whatever, by a certain time frame, and within a certain time frame. And so that's the question. If you need help with those types of situations, want to sit down and talk to someone about this, we would be more than happy to help you. Our contact information is on the screen. And if you have any wallet wins, or you have, you have any questions, you want to share a topic you would like for us to cover here on the show, we welcome all of them. And so that does it for today. This is John McEntyre Live. We'll talk.